Welcome to Same Spit Different Face Podcast, where my opinions is facts. And if you don't like my opinions, you can start your own podcast. And it's free. So don't forget to click the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. Also, for my Cash App, Hip Hop Artist of the Week, and Spit Squad merch, check the description. So, I am here with JAVIN4MAN. He is a basketball skills trainer. He runs one of the dopest sports groups in America, right? Yeah, I said it, in America. Fundamental Skills Group is what his training group is called, and I'm I'm just happy to have him on here, man, because I came into his sports group maybe like a year or two ago, man, and I haven't been able to leave since, man. We always on there. We have like a free Friday thing where people crack jokes and we have fun, but mostly we have great commentary about sports. And he always dropping some good sports knowledge all across the board. Introduce him to yourself a little bit.
Man, no doubt, man. First off, man, thank you for having me, brother. I've been watching what you've been doing, growing that YouTube channel, man. So, I know what a grind it is, what I'm saying? Already running that sports group, Universal Fan Union on Facebook, man. So I know what the grind is like, man. So I salute you for sticking with your dream and vision. But, man, as you said, man, on Universal Fan Union, man, one of the main things I do and concentrate on, to me, man, it's about a brotherhood, man. I want to be able to bring hip hop flavor, of course, kick sports, man, where brothers can really chop it up. If you look at what the about section of our group, man, I say things like this: we deal with all things sports related and examine them through a larger social context. We are no holds barred and only discriminate on those that can't stand a full court press, guard your grill. So we just come in, man. Man, drop your lid. It's like being back on the bench, waiting for that next, man. You chopping up, you talking that talk. You get to know the guys you playing with, that you hooping with. You get to know the guys you chopped up with. A lot of friendships have been made in the group, but more than anything, man, a lot of business deals have been done. So, for me, man, I want to keep it a dope space where brothers, we get to be ourselves, man. That's what I'm about.
Yeah, you know what? That's what I like about the group too, man. That is exactly you allowed to be yourself. And you know what? Another thing I actually like about it, man, and it's something that a lot of people don't have in their life, and it's that tough accountability when you go off the Richter or you say something that's not right. A lot of times in life, and with your when you have your own friends, you may say something that's kind of crazy, and your friends may be like, "Yo, that's just Mike. Let's ignore him." But
Right.
in the group, they hop right into that comment. "Yo, what you talking about? Hey, you tripping? Yo, this is
Right.
retarded. Like, why did you say that?" And
Right.
then a lot of times the person to backtrack like, "Yo, yeah, y'all right. Let me
Yeah,
delete this
it
post."
makes them think, bro, because it's like this, fam. As a grown man, we all kind of, the kings of our own ciphers. Who gonna check you? You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be your kids. Your wife ain't really gonna. She might pull your coat a little bit. Your lady might pull your coat, but like you say, your homies are kind of your homies. So, it's similar to what you see, on Facebook. Some of the danger of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, a lot of times the people you follow just agree with your opinion. You know what I'm saying? So, man, you just feel validated across the board. And as a grown man, we don't get friction too much. You know what I'm saying, man? We probably still a little bit ready for it, but you don't get checked. You came in high school with the wrong shoes on, you getting clowned. And that's a social cue. So it's the same thing. You need that self-awareness, even as a grown man, to say, you know what, I might need to rethink this opinion. I've had guys, one of the rules in there, as you know, is, man, just don't flagrantly curse. We're not calling women the B words. We not, what I'm saying, man, calling women's private parts out and all that. You know what I'm saying? We got women in the group. There's ways you can say what you want to say and still be yourself. But it's guys that come in flying off the handle like that. Then they see how we move, how we hold ourselves accountable. And guys have checked me before. J4, you wilding in the group, man. Chill. And I got to check myself. So it's all love at the end of the day, man. But it's a brotherhood. And of course, we got the queens in there as well.
Yeah, man. So what made you want to start that group out? Like, and when was the start date of it?
Yup. So it's funny, man. It came, it's just me and a couple of my cousins, man. And I don't even think groups were popular at that time. Nobody was even really doing, what I'm saying, groups on Facebook like that. So we started December 6th, 2011. So when my cousin actually kicked it off, he was like, man, Jay, why don't you invite, invite your people in? Because I'm more of a social type cat. I almost got 5,000 friends on Facebook. I know a lot of different people from a lot of different places. People know me from a lot of different things, whether it was playing basketball, being in the music business, youth development work I do, but I think most people rock with me because they know that I stand for something, particularly black things. So that was kind of it, man. So it quickly grew, man. I started what I like to call the main 23. I'm saying? Our first 23 people came in, and it just kind of grew from there, man. You see it be a thing. A lot of times it used to be, hey, Jay, can I invite somebody else? Man, it's open. If you feel like they are fit, invite them. And then we get more guys indoctrinated. We got sisters that come in. At one point, it was a revolt. Guys wanted to kick all the sisters out so we could be locker room. I'm like, man, it's a bad idea. So for me, I've always had to have foresight, what it's going to take to make this group work and thrive, for us to be ourselves. So, through the ups and downs, man, we've seen a lot of transformations through it. I won't get too far ahead of myself. But, yeah, man, December 6, 2011, this is when we kicked it off, man. And right now we at 4,000 plus members, 4,400 and growing. Mind you, Fair, this is a private group, bro.
Right.
People can't even really discover this group. If I opened it up, I know we'd be at 50, 60,000 easily.
Oh, definitely. And you know what? One thing, when you talk about having the foresight not to kick women out, I think the women handles a lot of things a lot better than a lot of the men on sometimes when you get that criticism. And also, one thing about having the women in a group, it kind of just balances the guys out, because I know it's a lot of times that I'll be saying certain things, and then a woman is hop into the comments, and I'll have a couple of things to say back to them, and then it'll instantly, my mind will kick in and be like, this a woman, you can't really win this argument with her. What you saying is probably offensive to her, so just fall back from it and leave it alone. And like whenever a woman argue with me, if it's in that sports realm or anything like that, I'ma always give her that pushback. But once I feel like it's going to a place where it's like it's not really pushback and it's more so she explaining to me she offended, I'll be like, all right, let me fall back from that. Yo, I apologize, sister. I didn't mean it like that. I meant it in the sports way. I meant it in this way. And I think that's a good balance to have, because it carries over to your regular life. Because as men, like you say, we don't get checked a lot. And we the king of our castles a lot of times. So when we come into that thing, sometimes we kind of kick into like, yo, this ain't even happening to me at this house. This ain't even happening to me at work. So I gotta stand up and say this and say that. And then I think it kind of give you that balance to be able to understand, you know what? I don't have to go over the top every time I speak to somebody, or I don't have to be sensitive about this situation. I could let this woman win this argument sometime, or I can apologize even though I may feel like that wasn't my intent. That's how she felt. And I think that helps you in other parts of life outside 100%. Of the group.
And then think about this, though, Fair. We also have members of other races. We got a couple white, what I say is our white brothers in there. We got Latino brothers in there. You know what I'm saying, man? Asian sisters, all kind of stuff. And so those are the ones I really salute, because, man, we strong, man. I think we pro-black to our tilt up in that group.
We definitely are.
When somebody comes, we stand on that. We stand, but in terms of righteousness, we not some ignorant brothers like, man, I'm riding with you. Man, my homie shoot somebody grandmother, I'm riding with him. No, I'm not riding with you on that. But I am, if what you're saying is principled and stand with something. So I think, man, our white brothers in particular, we got some stand-up white cats up in the group, man, that ride just like us. They call out the BS, the racism. We got some white cats that's married to sisters. You know what I'm saying? So I think we got some white cats who came in, because a lot of times I got to approve these dudes. I see they some hardcore Republicans or Trump supporters or whatever it might be, but I'm going to give anybody a chance. And I think a lot of times we so divided in this country, we don't get to know each other like that. So I think they've seen, damn, these are some young brothers who are kicking the real, and these are some brothers I wouldn't expect to be as accomplished. I mean, we got NBA players in there. We got real journalists. That's one of the things that's funny, is we got NBA players. I mean, I've seen former NBA players get called out and tagged in posts and like totally dissed. So the U holds no punches back, man.
Oh, it's definitely no punches in. To kind of expand on those white and Hispanic people that you talk about, they're not afraid to mix it up either, because they're a different race. Like, I cannot remember this guy's name, but one of the Hispanic guys was just going at me like 2 days ago, and I'm just like, yo, he's wilding. But he was wilding in a good way, like, yo, bro, I don't agree with your opinion about LeBron. And it was
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, yeah. So like they not just like the token white guy, or token Hispanic guy that's just
Yeah.
there to be like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm in this group, or they sit back when something
Right.
controversial happening. They mix it up like, nah, I
Yeah.
don't think that was that, and this is why, and I like that.
Yep. They get live with it. They get live with it, man. So yeah, I think we building something special. And like I say, man, it's up to all of us to make it what we want it to be. I'm just, the admin, man, who try one of them just tries to keep it moving, man. But I really do know, man, it's what we want to see, man, ultimately.
Okay, now as a side, I want to get a quick sidetrack because
Yep.
you get a hip hop vibe, but I never knew you was into music. What did you
Yep.
do in the music industry?
So man, I managed artists, man. Back when I lived in Chicago, I managed one artist, Mickey Halsted, that was signed to Cash Money. Man, was one of the first, cats to sign to Cash Money. Coming out of Chicago, and he had worked with Kanye West. Man, No ID was one of our OGs in the game. So I was pretty deep in the music business, man. From about 2000, really about '99. I started in Atlanta when I was in school and living here, and kind of brought back when I had learned about the business when Chicago was just kind of bubbling up, man. So yeah, we was heavy releasing mixtapes, man. We went independent ultimately when the Cash Money situation didn't work out. I had an R&B artist named Trady who did really well. We had some independent records played on GCI, B103, Power 92. So we were making moves, man, like right before the industry changed. I mean, it's prime time for these guys to be independent now. We were a little ahead of the game, though.
Oh yeah, man, and I'm definitely familiar with Mickey Halsted because back when I was playing basketball at one point before the injuries,
Uh-huh.
um my coach Brandon Moore actually played with Mickey Halsted in college.
Okay, okay, yep,
So
yep,
yeah, I've met Mickey Halsted a few times as well. When
no doubt.
he did a music video with Twister back in the day on one of my people's boat in the
Okay,
dock
yep,
right there.
yep,
And,
absolutely,
and I
man,
met him,
absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, it's super crazy. That's a super small world. But
Indeed.
back to I'm gonna save the best part. I'm gonna save the best question for last. But
Yeah,
back to the training part.
yeah.
What got you into that, man? And your son, I'm not gonna lie, your son's super skilled, and I know I'm always kind of blowing you up every once in a while, like, yo, send me a clip of him. Let me see that. Yo, you got something for him?
Yeah,
I just wanna,
yeah.
man. How did you get into that, man? Just training. Even how did you do that, man?
So it's funny, man. You talk about the injuries, man. That was kind of my story, man. I played at Whitney Young, man, Red West. Man, we did really well. I started at Beasley, so we went 53-3 my eighth grade year.
Mm.
So ultimately, it's funny when you look back on how things work. Coach Stanton came, and I'm a shorty. I don't know no better. My pops tell me this way you going to school. My brother was already at Whitney Young. I hadn't thought much about it, but when as you know, when you playing them eighth, seventh, and eighth grade tournaments, a lot of them at Catholic schools. So a lot of them Catholic schools was trying to get us and all that. So I didn't know, man. I was just hooping. Long story short, the coach Stanton comes and takes our whole team from Whitney Young, man. Our starting, really, I think he took like five of our top 6 or 7 players. And that's when Whitney Young kind of really became a basketball school, as you saw what Quinn Richardson and them guys went on to do. But we kind of really put them on the map. We were winning the Red West, a top 2 all the time, battling with Westinghouse, Marshall. We went to city championship my freshman year. So we made a lot of noise, man. So but I had done pretty well. I had schools looking at me, but I had my biggest game against Simeon. That's where Coach Stanton came from. It was always a Christmas game. We played, had a really big game. We had never beat them in the history of that game. My junior year, we beat them. I scored about 18, 20 points. Man, had a lot of pub in the paper. That's what we looked at, having that ink. I go out that game was on Friday. I go out that Sunday playing pickup ball at Kennedy King, try to dunk on playing with them old heads and break my ankle, man. Ended up
Right.
taking me out most of the year. Yeah, I didn't play any more junior year. Came back senior year. I wasn't really 100%. I did okay. I had Marquette. Funny enough, I'm a big Jimmy Buckets fan, but
Yeah.
Marquette was one of the main schools looking at me. I was talking with that coach a lot. That's where I wanted to go. But once that hit, man, and all schools stopped looking at me, I really lost a lot of love for the game, to be real with you, man, because my body
Exactly.
just wasn't responding. And I was going hard trying to get right. Long story short, so I gave the game up and came down to Morehouse. Thought I'd be able to play. They act like, oh, come down. Man, coach played me. He said, "Oh, well, come play, and we'll probably look at a scholarship next year for you." I'm like, man, I told him, I said, man, my high school team would have beat this team, man. Ain't no way. So I just became a rec league all-star. I'd kill them at intramurals, got into the party scene. Long story short, I say all that to say, I didn't really hoop much after that, man. I'd play pickup ball, stay in shape, but I didn't take the game that serious. I really lost a little bit of love for it, man. And it wasn't until I started having children, man. I had my daughter in 2009, then I had my oldest son in 2011, my youngest in 2014. So it's almost like that fire came back once I had him. My oldest in particular, he just took to the game. Of course, I set up the Nerf hoops, and it made me see the game from a child's eyes again, where I could really enjoy it, enjoy teaching it. And I've always had a passion for young people anyway, so transitioning to fatherhood was really easy for me anyway. But just getting him to the game, and so what I say his gift is, as you've seen him fare, is if you came down right now, took him out in my backyard, and you show him something, you show him an intricate move, and he's 9. He just made 9 in September. He can do it within 3 minutes. He'll have that move down. So he's kind of got a photographic memory, for learning things. You know what I'm saying? That he can make his body do kinetically whatever it is you show him how to do. And so once I saw that with him, I said, wow, this kid is just pretty gifted. So I just knew the most important thing for me was just give him great fundamentals, and so that's what I set out to do with him. Kept him in the gym. He loved the game, man. He's got a crazy work ethic, born on my brother's birthday, and crazy work ethic. And so from the time he was 4, man, we've been in the gym at least 2 days a week. His saying is, his name is Zechariah, but we call him Z4. His saying is 10,000 hours. As the saying goes, it takes 10,000 hours to master anything. So I got footage of that boy from the time he was 2 years old on the Nerf hoop. He's crazy. He's got that Ben Simmons thing where he naturally does everything with his right hand, but he naturally dribbles with his left hand. So I said, this kid's got. So now he's already making left hand scoops and can shoot jump shots, little short jumpers with his left. So that's really what it's been for just on this journey with him, man. And then as my youngest son is coming up too, he just made 6 over the summer. So I'm all in it now, man. In the gym 3-4 days a week, whether it's training my boys, other kids, camps I'm doing, man. I'm a real basketball dad, bro.
Yeah, man, I can definitely tell. And you're right, man. He definitely got it, man. I look at some of those videos, and just playing basketball. I started playing kind of late in life. I got pretty good at it, but I started playing pretty late. So it was a lot of things that I didn't know just from playing young. When you play young, like as your son, from playing young, he pick up on so many small details that he's actually ahead of the ball by the time he'll be 12 and 14, because he'll know all those small nuances of the game that most players just don't know and can't pick up. And it's not their fault. It just comes with putting in those 10,000 hours. And I like that you instill that 10,000 hour in them, because I didn't hear about the 10,000 hours until I was probably about 24. 24 late in life, man. Super late.
Yeah, but see, that's really my philosophy. Fair is this, man. Particularly when it comes to parenting or just doing anything in life, man. It's just intentionality, just being intentional about what you're doing, especially when it comes to children. Because I think now children should have a good sense of what they want to do. And not saying he'll be an NBA player or anything like that, but I know I look at sports as a protective factor. I know what sports can do, saying, hey, you're going to be about something. You are an athlete. You're a basketball player. You need to take care of your body. You need to, eat right. You got to sleep. You can't sit there and play video games all night. You got a game in the morning. You lay your uniform out the day before. You don't wake up playing games. He knows all this stuff. He was outside this morning. He had a game today. He's in 3rd grade. He played with his 4th grade AAU team against 5th graders. Got up this morning. I didn't have to tell him. He was out there in the backyard shooting. He knows before you play to stretch, so just all those things. But I say to what you said about the game that's interesting, Fair, is that, see, my thing with him will be to make sure that he doesn't peak too early, because that can also hurt kids. See, sometimes it's better to be a late bloomer, pick it up, especially if you either get bad habits early and you take those with you. That's one thing that can be detrimental to a kid's development, but also to peak too early where you just know it's no other layers for you to get better. You plateau. So I'm real conscious of that the way I came up because I was a real good player as a young kid. You know what I'm saying? But what happened with me, I had an older brother, 2 years older, so I always played with kids that were older than me. So by the time I played with kids my age, I was always one of the better players, but I never knew how to dominate. You know what I'm saying? Because I was the point guard, pass and shoot. Now I get my shot beat out the stands. You know what I'm saying? I knew how to compete hard, but I didn't know how to score 20 points a game because that wasn't my job. And so that's something you have to learn. So I'm conscious with him when he plays on his AAU level, he knows his job is to dominate, and he does it. He sets out, man, he's going to set his number of points he wants to score. I got him in 3-on-3 leagues. But when he plays with older kids, you give the same effort, but you get in where you fit in with your IQ. You still play hard. So to me, bro, it's just about being conscious about ourselves and about what we do with our children.
Man, 100%, man. And you know what? Another thing too. I can't remember what day it was or what year it was. I've been in the group for like 2 years now, but you had did a thing where you do the you kids, man, and I see
Yeah.
you definitely 100% put a emphasis on like yo kids are the future type thing, and you're
Yeah.
not preaching kids are the future, you showing kids are the future,
Yeah.
like, and I think
Yeah.
like a lot of times, right? I might be one of the younger guys in the group at 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of times, a lot of things that we don't learn or that we don't hear growing up, I think we
Yeah.
learning from the elders. Like we see, like, oh, yo,
Yeah.
he out there with his son. Okay, that's what real
Exactly.
men are doing. Oh, you know
Yep.
what? He handling his business. Oh, he got a nice crib. Oh, they got a rim in the yard. Oh, that's what
Yep.
real men are doing. And like you say, as
Absolutely.
far as even past the NBA players, it's a lot of guys in the group who are really successful in what they're doing, and
Absolutely.
seeing success only breeds success because if you're a person who motivated to do anything, you just look at these guys and be like, man, these guys are black gentlemen. They in politics, they in sports, they in construction, they got their own business, they managers,
Yep.
they bosses. Wow, let me figure out
Yep.
what I'm really trying to do, or let me invite
Yep.
somebody else in this group who can eat off of that and understand and see these things.
Yep, 100%. And you got to think about I'm definitely conscious about wanting to give guys inspiration in that way in the group, and then also for some guys, when do you get to chop it up with a guy? It's like for some guys, that's professors or whatever they might be, attorneys. When do you get to chop it up with a guy who came from the streets? You know what I'm saying? We got all these, and that's to say everybody got something to offer in their experiences. You know what I'm saying? But all that stuff converges right here. Might not know who you talking to. Like, man, but a lot of times I know why dude go hard defending Charles Barkley. That's his uncle. You know what I'm saying? I know that. I know dude played, at King High School with such and such. I know what that dude's real name is who's on there. I know Scoop Jackson is in the group and watches the post. You know what I'm saying? Because guys hit me, and I also tell dudes there's some of my other guys who sometimes first are like, man, these dudes just be wild and they just say anything. They'll call me and text me. I'm like, bro, you got to also remember you should be in that dropping knowledge because there's a lot of guys. If we got 4,000 plus members, we probably see 1,100 names flash across the screen that post and like and do that kind of stuff. But these other guys are watching. Some dudes may not have the personality to say anything, but I know they watch. And so they might be picking up game. You might say that one thing that sparks this dude's idea. You know what I'm saying? It might be the way you carry yourself, just like you said. But it's some very accomplished brothers that's in here. And then also it's guys who are going to go on to do big things, man. And for us to network, I know right now in that group, if I said, look, man, we need to raise $2,500 tomorrow for this group member right here that, man, got burnt out his home, we'll have that money in 6 hours.
Uh,
That's the kind of group we are, man. You know what I'm saying? With the level of supporting brothers that I know that's in the group that I just know. And that's why you see me try to stay on point and do the happy birthday shout outs and all that so we can know a little bit about each other, and build together. And I imagine how many friend requests have been sent, to each other from the group, man, guys that have really gotten tight. And sometimes fear comes from warring with each other, from battling with a dude on a post. F you, F your mama, whatever. Man, I ride down on you and we chill all that out. Next thing you know, them dudes is jamming.
oh yeah, it's been a couple of guys in the group that I've sent friend requests personally, like, yo, he be dropping knowledge. And you know what?
Word.
He be I don't be
Yep.
agreeing with him, but what he be saying makes sense. Like, you know what I'm
Yep.
so I definitely feel that, man. Now, what I'm really here to get into, man, it's two things I'm really here to get into. But the first thing that I really want to get into, man, you had faith all year and they got to the finals, man. Let's talk about Jimmy Butler, but also let's talk about your buckets reports, man.
Ha 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 ha. No doubt, man. So yeah, man, it's funny, fair. And talking about it, I just have always seen from the time Jimmy Butler came to Chicago, man, and the way he approached the game, because it's the way I think you gotta approach life, man. Jimmy has never been the most talented dude. You know what I'm saying, man? Got the best moves, none of that, but he's got the size. He's always shown he's got the work ethic, the grit, and determination. And those are the things I think in the long run you need to be successful in life and be consistent. I think consistency is the key to life. If you can keep doing the same thing, that 10,000 hours that Z4 is working on, man, if you can continue to rock your podcast the way you just consistent, despite what the results might be. You know what I'm saying? And then have a few things fall your way. I know what it'll do for you. So I knew in the long run, long term bet, man, Jimmy Butler was going to be successful. Because the way he approached the game is not very many guys in this era, right? It was tons of guys in the 80s, early 90s that approached the game the way Jimmy did, a Joe Dumars. Man, I could name you 15, 20, Dale Ellis, Reggie Miller, the way these guys approach the game meticulously, whereas a lot of these guys, and it's no knock on them, but it's a different era with social media and you know what I'm saying? And so it's one of the things I said, which guys got really upset with me early on about Derrick Rose. See, Derrick Rose never really learned how to work. You have to learn how to work hard. You can go spend a lot of time in the gym and do empty things. But see, when I get in the gym with my sons, I'm working on very specific. I call my stuff game ready training. I'm getting him in situations that he's going to see in a game, and we're not going to waste a lot of time working on things that he won't see. There'll be time to add in different things. But like I was at his fifth grade game today, I was like, man, I got to work on his floater more. At one point, I had his floater right, but that's what he needs to get off against these fifth graders. So we're going to be in the gym all week, and I'm going to give you some video of it. We'll be in there working on his floater. But I believe Jimmy, you know, and had the mindset. And then when I saw him getting into it with teammates, I knew what it was about, man. I knew these guys aren't built for him. I was the kid that hated to lose. My only fights I really ever had in life came on the basketball court, bro, because I hated to lose. I fight my own teammates, too. I had to get over myself with that. But I really, really hated losing, and I still do to this day to a certain degree. But that's what I said about Jimmy, and that's what I saw in him. So I'm thinking about the Buckridge reports, man. I'm an Israelite, man. So you know I really do believe in the word, and like you said, you know, I wanted to be an example for brothers like, man, a lot of people, man, don't believe in the word, oh, white Jesus and all that. That's not what I rock with, and that's not what the scriptures say. I really do know the Bible, you know. So I just wanted to kind of infuse two of my passions. So when I call it the Holy Bucket Report, I wanted to hit these guys with some scriptures, and then I tie it into what Jimmy may have done in that game, or what's happening in the week, you know, and try to make it make sense. But I believe it's probably made some brothers think about the scriptures a little bit differently as well. And ultimately, man, where does your faith lie? Where's your belief in self? When Jimmy did one of the illest things, when he didn't accept that weak Bulls contract they offered him, he said, I'm going to play it out. And man, came up big time, better than himself. They played him again in Philly the same way. People have been telling Jimmy at every stop, man, you're not who you think you are. And that's what brothers in the U. And so that's life for us, Fair. They going to tell us, J4, Fair, you're not who you think you are, bro. Your YouTube channel isn't what you think it is, bro. I remember when I was in sixth grade, I went to McDade. So McDade goes first through sixth, kindergarten through sixth. And then I transferred to Beasley, seventh and eighth. Guy told me, man, he said, I'll never forget, he's one of my good friends. So he said, yeah, man, you be killing all us in gym and all that stuff in basketball, man. But when you get to Whitney Young, man, you ain't going to be nothing. Right? Because he thought I was going to go to Whitney Young for seventh grade academics. And he's like, man, you ain't going to be nothing when you get to Whitney Young. So that's a lot of times. Sometimes it's your own people that are trying to drop those seeds. So that's what I like about Jimmy, man. The way he's held on to his faith. You know what I'm saying? Said, man, I'm prepared, and I'm gonna go out here and do me, bro.
That's 100%, man. And I was super impressed with Jimmy, but you know, I was one of those players who was a late bloomer. IQ was kind of low, but I was always like, literally, I'm not gonna lie, right? The same way you see me act in the group is the same way you see me act on the court. I'm super aggressive. Like my basketball coach, I actually invited him and he in the group Carvel Bailey, one of my
Yeah.
basketball coaches, and he'll tell you, like, I had a monster game one night, a 45-14 game, and I was always just a person. I was one of them people that, like you say, bro, can't nobody tell me what I can't do, and once you tell me what I can't do, I'm going to try even harder to do it. Like, you tell me I can't score whatever you say I'm gonna score, I'm going to go out there. And one of the ways he used to try to motivate me is he'll be like, let's just say he'll be like, yo, don't worry about it today, man. You know, just go out there and do what you want to do. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
play average. But if he tell me, yo, he think he better than you, man. He think he can guard you. Yeah, man, I heard what they said about you. You ain't on nothing this week. What? They said what? I'm talking about I'm gonna come out and run off like 10, 12 points straight. And the national game, the final four, when I was playing for him, came out and scored like the first 10 points straight. Buckets, getting it.
Yeah.
And that's just because he told me, man, they think they better than you. The last time they played us, they outplayed us by a lot, and they thinking that you weak. Oh, they did what? Oh, okay, I got something for them. You know, man, so you definitely right, man, that you know you gotta get that work and put that work in, and that's just 100%. Now, another thing about me that I'm one of them people who, whenever I this I scout talent, right? And I see people who have more to themselves. They may know it and they may hide it, or they may know it and they may be working behind the scenes. But when I see those things in people, and when I first start seeing how you interacted in the group and how you moved yourself, I'm like, yeah, he got it. I'm like, man, he should start a podcast. And that's all I kept thinking about you, right? So when you tell me you do you worked in the music business, and when I actually get on here and I actually hear how you instantly start spitting things, not rambling, not like you really flowing out with the knowledge, and then with the bucket reports, I'm like, oh yeah, I was right about him. And then you actually start putting it together where it was like your logo down in the corner and everything. I'm like, I knew I was right, man. So when are you starting this podcast, man? Because like you said, bro, um, not only do you come with logical arguments about sports, and you see the game and understand the game and know the game, you drop knowledge in between that too, man. And it's knowledge that a lot of people wouldn't get if it wasn't for the Buckets report. They wouldn't get that piece of scripture in their life and be able, like you say, people talk about white Jesus all the time, and my grandmother brought me up in the church despite of some of the things that I may have been into in my lifetime, right? And people will always say, yo, they teach white Jesus to hold the Christians, to hold black people back, but they'll say don't trust the white man when it come to this, but they will trust him when it come to that. And then if you go further back enough in history and you know what you know, the Quakers over in England, way before these times, were Christians, and they were trying to tell the Americans in the islands that slavery was wrong, and they were trying to abolish slavery way before Lincoln. So just something like that they don't know, man. But what is the goal? What's
man,
up with
I'm
this
gonna tell
podcast?
you, bro. Believe it or not, man. Yeah, just definitely seeing you do your thing, man. It's inspired me, man. It's I'm at the point where I'm ready. Believe it or not, when you see it, bro, I think it's gonna be dope. I got the logo. I got my video intro for it. I got my whole stuff really laid out, man. I'm very methodical when I do stuff, and I don't like to do stuff and start stuff. So I was just trying to get myself, man, to a point where I knew I could rock it, and I believe I'm there now. I've had a lot on my plate these last couple of years, particularly with my kids. You know, you're a dad, man. When you got them kids so young, man, they take up so much of your energy, and trying to keep my career on track. And we moved back to Atlanta. It's been, I think, probably 7 years now. Yeah, a little over 7 years now, 2013. So just making that transition and getting everything moving, man. But long story short, bro, I think I'm ready, man. And I think you gonna like it too when you see what I got, man. It's in that vein with the buckets report, man. But it's definitely some knowledge being dropped. I think it's gonna play well, bro.
Yeah, definitely, man. I can't wait. And like I told you, once you actually drop, man, we got to get you back on here so we can talk about the podcast and we can like prep people for it. And when you drop those videos, man, if you dropping it on YouTube, but even if you dropping it anywhere else, man, if you give me those links, I'll put them in my community tab in order to, give you that look off of my platform. Like I say, man, I'm one of them people who when I go out of town and I'm down in Miami or I'm up in Chicago or I'm in LA or New York and I see my homies, I pull up on them and they tell me they doing something, I
Yeah.
instantly start thinking in my mind, how can I help them? What
Yes,
can I do?
bro.
How can I expand their platform? One of my
Yep.
homies got a great story and he working on a book right now. When I pulled up on him, we talked for about an hour. No, bro, you gotta do this. This story gotta
Yeah.
be out, bro. You gotta write. You gotta do this.
Yep.
One of my other
Yep.
boys wrote a book, and you gotta do an audio version. Listen, bro, I'm finna have you
Yes.
on for an interview. I'm gonna tell you exactly how to start your podcast. We gonna run it down. Like I've met random people and do that, and I get that
Yeah.
same vibe from you with running that group. It's just like, yo, man, I just want to see black men win. That's the vibe
Yep.
I get from you.
100%, man. That's really what it's all about, man. It's about that, brother. And so I just got a real dope position. I've always been in youth development, man. So two things. So I got my own company, man, for management, where it kind of came out from when I was doing the music business management. That's where it started. I took a job at Power 92, man, and I was selling radio time for 106 Power 92 when I was in the music business because I really was trying to backdoor the game. How can I get my artists more play? How can I understand it? So what I understood is, man, people who sell a time, commercial time, really run the radio. If I'm spending $100,000 at one of these radio stations, they gonna play my record, bro. In some shape, form, or fashion, they gonna support me, right? And so I went in and I wanted to learn that system. So I took this job, but within the midst of that, I've always been a marketing guy. That's when I graduated from Morehouse. That I started my company for management, originally just to do the music management stuff, but I found that these businesses out here, these small businesses, black businesses in particular, needed management on the marketing side of program management. So I picked up some clients while I was in there when I was buying the ads, and I took the company out of power and I still bought time, but they needed more marketing services. I learned graphic design, business cards, flyers, learned how to video edit. So I wanted to kind of be a one-stop shop, not just for my own projects, but for others,
Right.
right? So I say all that to say that's just kind of been my trajectory. But my other passion was always, man, working with youth. I came up in that whole YMCA system, grew up High Park, but on the outskirts, right there on Drexel, Drex side, you know what I'm saying, kind of guy. So I knew dudes from every walk of life you could imagine, so people have always been my thing. So I had a position, one of my best positions, right before I left Chicago. I was at the district office, Chicago Public Schools. I was a program manager for several at-risk youth programs. One of which was a mentor program. Another, I helped to start the re-engagement centers that's in Chicago for high school dropouts. So that's always been one of my things. I was trying to get back to the work here because I like to have my company plus something where I'm community involved, man. But I just got a real dope program I'm the project director of. It's a fatherhood program where we're gonna be teaching men a 6 to 10 week curriculum on man, better fatherhood and parenting skills. But that's really who I am, bro. As you described, man, I want to see black men in particular win. I know how powerful we are when we come together. We know the sisters put it down. You know what I'm saying, man? Everybody else does their thing, but we have not really seen the power of men. We see it sometimes at a Rockefeller. I think it's why we like rap groups, why we like Wu Tang. That was harnessing the power of men, right? We can't shy away from that, man. We powerful when we come together, bro. We can tear stuff down and we can build stuff up. So that's what I really want to see 2021 and beyond, man. Brothers coming together and do stuff. So I know I'm gonna do everything in my power to support men, bro, and the moves we about to make. And I think my last thing I say about that, I believe in the community, and you probably hear me say in the group, when we take our positions in the community, all the ills will go away, bro. We'll solve every problem in our community when men step up. And that's one of the reasons they systematically look to hold us back because black men, we are powerful.
Yeah, man, that's definitely 100% true, man. We have to, and just going through life, man, I learned a lot of these lessons I know now the hard way. And when you talk
Yep.
about one thing too that I want to touch on, man, I don't trust nobody who don't get upset when they lose. Now
Man,
you can't be
yes.
erratic. You gotta understand how to bounce back from it, and you gotta keep your eyes on the prize. But bruh, I used to lose games and take my jersey off and throw them, and the principal used to
Bruh.
have to come on the court like, "Yo, you can't be acting like that. Come here, get over here right now. Come to my
Yeah.
office now." Like, bruh, I just don't like losing. I've never trust anybody who like losing, bruh. Like, I would lose even before I was a good player. I was always a good scorer, but I would
Yeah.
lose a game and I would come home and I'd just be like, "Yo, I can't sleep. Like, yo, I need to go out
Yes.
and get some shots up. I need to make some layups. I need to try to do
Yeah.
something to curb this loss." Like, when we had lost in the Final Four, I was back in the gym like a day or two later, like working on shots and
Yeah.
working on things to get ready for next season. But so I like that you mentioned that, man, that like you don't like losing, man, because it takes a winner mentality. And actually, I'm working on something that I'll tell you about off mic. But to
Yeah.
me, it's like you have to have that motivation in order to win, because you're gonna have low points. You're gonna
Yep.
have extreme highs, but you're gonna have extreme lows. And that
Yep.
motivation and knowing who you are is what's gonna carry you through.
Yep. Man, bro, it'll be times, man. I've looked at people, and sometimes I look at calm people like what I can't stand. Like you described, I do not like a poop butt, bro. I don't like nobody who just don't care. You cannot play for me. You cannot be around me. What I call is like low life force, man. Your life force is too low, man.
Exactly.
If I was gonna lose, I'm telling you, I would fight, bro. I would fight in games if I was losing, because I'm gonna give it everything I have. You gonna feel me though, bro. Like that's when I had all my fights was on the basketball court. Other than that, it'll be because I knew it takes something away from my spirit. Even to this day, when I'm coaching my son 3-on-3, and I know I'm instilling in them, and sometimes I feel bad because it's other people's kids, but it's the only way I know how to do. Is how I train. These boys got to come in. They got to do same routine. You got to do 3 dribbles around the court perfectly. 3 with your right, 3 with your left. Bounce around. You got to move like a basketball player. Y'all got to line up. And I got there's probably 7 of them. My 6-year-old like y'all got to make 15 layups straight. Every 3 you miss, y'all gonna run a suicide, right? Because you cannot get in the habit. You got to push yourself. You cannot give yourself any breaks. A lot of times we know, man, like procrastination, man, I should be doing this. The battle is whether you can make yourself do what you know you need to do. And I've instilled that in my sons already. Man, you
100%,
got to
bro.
push yourself to do it. So that's part of winning. If you let yourself off the hook, right now, it's definitely information. Like my son and them lost today to these 5th graders. Man, they was down 0-8 in the first quarter. Second quarter, 2-8. Man, they came all the way back, tied the game up. They lost in the last 13 seconds, and these boys was way bigger than them. But he learned something in it. So I'm like, let's look, man. If you give your all, I could live with that. What the outcome is, because it's information that you gain. But I can't live with you not fighting and doing your best. And man, and that's what he knows to give. And I think we got to do the same thing in our lives. Otherwise, I believe it chips away at your manhood if you just allow that, man. What else will you allow?
Man, hey man, that's gospel, man. I'm not gonna lie, man, and I think we're gonna talk more off. We're gonna talk more off air about certain things, man. But 100%, man. I knew I was reaching out to you for a reason. I knew I had that vibe, and just coming up from where I come up from, man. I pick up on people fast, bro. I pick up on
Yeah.
BS meter fast. I pick up on genuine meter, all that. And
Yep.
being from Chicago too, man, you pick up on the same things, man. So
Sure.
I knew
Sure.
that it was gonna be worth the thing for me to interview you, man. And what I want you to do before we get out of here, man, drop some of your handles or whatever you need to promote, or drop where people can reach you at.
No doubt, man. So you can definitely catch me on social media, man. JAVIN4MAN, JAVINFOREMAN. That's on Facebook, and JAVIN the number 4 MAN. That's on Instagram. man, most of my Instagram is my kids, man, more than anything. But we in there having fun doing our thing. I'm also partners with my boy Lefty B Boy, man, with I Am Chicago Basketball. You can follow that on Facebook as well, where we got the I Am Chicago Basketball gear, man. Grab your flag, your hats, your t-shirts, your sweatshirts. And on that platform, we interview some Chicago legends, man. We got one coming up with Mr. 40 that's gonna drop this week, man, Tony Bennett. So, I try to stay in tune with the basketball community. Of course, man, if you're a sports head, you gotta join Universal Fan Union on Facebook as well, man. But other than that, man, I definitely want y'all to look for me, Fathers Incorporated. It's a fire grant that I'm gonna be the project director of, man. We about to turn manhood all the way up here in Atlanta and beyond, man. So that's what I'm moving on. Till my boy Fair coaches me up and I get this podcast off the ground, brother, I'll be in UFU.
Yeah, man, can't wait. So, drop below in the comments and let me know what you think. Also, it's free, so click the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. Peace.